All right, you guys. So, Ticket TV live streams, like, share, and subscribe. Shouts out to the whole LDDC, Salute to A, Weapons, Red Midlife Music. And I'm going to let y'all tap on in. We're going to get right to this video, man. As I appreciate all of you guys who stepped into this chat, and are going to join us on this stream, man. Again, I salute and I appreciate all of y'all. Look, man, we're going to get it right into it. I'm going to explain to you guys the situation. And basically, the situation has gotten very real for the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, the Clippers co-owner, Dennis Wong, uh, NBA superstar Kawhi Leonard, and potentially his uncle, Uncle Dennis, could have links to this entire situation. Uh, to what extent, we don't know. We'll find out throughout the investigation. But I'm going to let you guys know, try to tell you guys some of the stuff the other day. But I'm going to give you a quick breakdown on how Kawhi Leonard, NBA superstar, may have put himself and Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, may have put himself in a situation to a point where there is no return, and there could be potential major federal prison time behind this. I don't think people understand how serious this situation is, and the fact that this situation is currently under a federal SEC and DOJ investigation with this company, Aspiration. Now, the scandal revolves around Aspiration Partners, a fintech company focused on substantial banking and green initiatives like planting trees for customer transactions. Now, it was founded in 2013. Now, Aspiration, the company positioned itself as an eco-friendly alternative to traditional banks, but has since collapsed amid allegations of widespread fraud. Now, in August of this year, co-founder Joseph Sandberg agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud for orchestrating a $248 million scheme that defrauded investors and lenders through fabricated financial statements and misleading claims about the company's performance and partnerships. Now, the company filed for bankruptcy earlier in 2025, and the federal authorities, including the Department of Justice, the FBI, as I told y'all, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, are investigating. Now, Mr. Sandberg faces up to 40 years in prison with his sentence pending. Again, Mr. Sandberg, the man from Aspiration himself, is facing up to 40 years in prison right now, even after admitting his role in this scheme. Now, Steve Ballmer, the billionaire owner of the Los Angeles Clippers and former Microsoft CEO, invested approximately $50 million. Let me repeat myself again. Steve Ballmer invested nearly $50 million into this company, approximately $50 million in 2021, 2022. Now, this investment came amid Aspiration's aggressive fundraising, where the company touted high-profile partnerships and or actually I should say, sustainability efforts to attract capital. Now, Steve Ballmer has publicly came out and stated that he was drawn to the company's mission, but was ultimately conned by his founders, describing their actions as blatant fraud. Now, he emphasized that he and the Clippers are cooperating with law enforcement. Now, the scandal gained NBA specific attention due to Aspiration's $48 million deal with Clippers superstar Kawhi Leonard back in 2021, which was $28 million in a payment that was supposed to be divided to Kawhi Leonard's LLC, KL2 Aspire LLC, and another $20 million side deal and stock that Kawhi Leonard had brokered with that company. Now, a part of this, the reports allege that this was a no-show contract where Kawhi Leonard performed no promotional work, yet received payments shortly after key investments into Aspirations, including Clippers owner Steve Ballmer and one from Clippers minority owner, Dennis Wong. Investigative reporting suggests this arrangement may have been a covert way to funnel extra compensation to NBA star Kawhi Leonard, potentially circumventing the NBA salary cap rules, which limit player pay to maintain a competitive balance. The NBA launched its own probe this month, but the federal angle stems from a broader aspiration fraud. Now, additionally, the Clippers reportedly considered naming their new arena, right, after Aspiration, before backing out, which Steve Ballmer later called an embarrassing near miss because he ended up calling it the Intuit Dome. Now, right? Steve Ballmer, in an interview with ESPN, has tried to position himself as a person who was frauded, I should say, by Aspiration, right? So he positioned himself as a person who was defrauded investor and not a perpetrator in criminal activity. However, federal implication could arise if the investigators from the Feds, SEC, and DOJ Department of Justice find evidence that Clippers owner Steve Ballmer knew about or participated in the fraud, meaning Steve Ballmer was aware of Aspiration's fabricated financials, inflated revenue, or fake partnerships when he invested, or if his investment was conditioned on the Kawhi Leonard deal as a part of a quid pro quo. This could tie him to this scheme. The Department of Justice alleges that Sandberg used interstate wires, emails, bank transfers to deceive investors. So any involvement in promoting or concealing false information could implicate Los Angeles Strippers owner Steve Ballmer, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. Now, also, if Steve Ballmer used Aspiration as a conduit for illicit payments, meaning that the timing of the payments the timing of the payments to Kawhi Leonard days after investments from Steve Ballmer and Dennis Wong has raised suspicions of a coordinated effort. Now, if proven by the Feds, DOJ, or SEC, this could be viewed as Steve Ballmer aiding a fraudulent entity to facilitate hidden compensation, potentially violating federal laws beyond the NBA regulations. The SEC's involvement suggests scrutiny of security offerings or misleading investors about the company's stability to fund celebrity deals is the key. Also, failure to report or benefited from the fraud as a high-profile investor. If it's proven that Steve Ballmer received preferential treatment or tax benefits from the deal while knowing of irregularities, he could face scrutiny for not reporting suspicions. The feds might subpoena him as a witness, and any inconsistencies in his statements could lead to his deeper involvement. Right? Now, the scandals federal probe is currently ongoing, with potential for more revelations, as Mr. Sandberg's plea deal may include cooperation against others. Steve Ballmer's wealth and public profile make him a notable figure, right? But again, he has painted himself as a victim instead of a co-conspirator. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if he's the 10th richest person in the world. You can't get out of this. Can't get out of the feds and the SEC, buddy. You don't believe that? Go ask Fred Bankman. See, from the crypto thing. He's sitting over there with Diddy right now in the Brooklyn jail. Jamal Buggs. Know your Jameel Buggs. Know your role and shut your mouth. Fred Bankman seat is sitting his ass right over there in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center with Diddy over that scandal with the crypto, dog. So sit your ass over there, bro. Sam Bankman Fried, yeah. Sit your ass down and shut the hell up. You don't know what the hell you talking about, bro. Just shut up, bro. Just know your role and shut your damn mouth, fool. The hell is wrong with you, man? People don't know a damn thing about nothing. You like just big dummies coming on YouTube, a bunch of Kendrick Perkins running around here running your mouth. Now let's keep going, right? Also, if the evidence emerges linking Steve Ballmer, the Clippers owner, to the fraud via emails, financial records, or witness testimony, which they've already had multiple witnesses that worked in Aspiration that went to Pablo Torre on his show. He's had two witnesses that went on his show already that claim that this was a scheme that was set up in order to pay Kawhi Leonard under the table and avoid the NBA salary cap, right? He could hypothetically face federal criminal charges. Now, these will be based on the nature of Aspiration scheme in similar cases, right? Now, he could potentially face wire fraud charges under 18 USC 1343, the core charge against Sandberg. Now, this involves using electronic communication wires to execute a scheme to defraud. Now, if Ballmer's investment or communications with Aspirations were a part of deceiving other investors or concealing Kawhi Leonard's payments, he could face this penalty, which gets up to 20 years in prison just for that penalty if they can prove that they invested in order to pay Kawhi Leonard into this fraudulent company. Also, securities fraud under 15 USC 78 JB and Rule 10B through 5. If Steve Ballmer knowingly invested in or promoted Aspiration while aware of false statements in his securities offerings to fund the Kawhi Leonard deal, the SEC could pursue civil penalties and the DOJ criminal ones. This often involves misleading investors about a company's viability, a penalty up to 20 years in prison, fines up to $5 million for individuals, and disgorgement of gains. So he can face up to 20 years in prison just for that. So for both charges, he could face independently of 20 years in prison if they prove that. Also, conspiracy to commit fraud, 18 USC 371. If Steve Ballmer conspired with Aspiration executives to defraud investors or use the company as a vehicle to cap circumvention, this charge could apply. It requires agreement to commit an illegal act and a penalty up to 5 years in prison plus fines on that one. Also, if they can prove and link him to money laundering under 18 USC 1956, right? Which is possible if the Kawhi Leonard payments are deemed proceeds of fraud and Ballmer's investment helped launder them through legitimate channels. A penalty up to 20 years in prison could be faced off of that. Also, tax-related charges, 26 USC 7201. If the deal involved unreported income or fraudulent deductions, writing off the investment while knowing it was a sham, the IRS could investigate evasion, a penalty up to 5 years in prison, and fines up to $100,000. Right? Now, this is crazy. And as well as far as his NBA risk, which is concerned, the penalties for cap violations could include fines up to $10 million, loss of draft picks, suspensions, and things of that nature. Now, also, over to Kawhi Leonard, as Kawhi Leonard could be linked as well as David Wong and other associates. Now, Kawhi Leonard, who signed a 4-year, $28 million endorsement deal and brokered a $20 million investment deal, or I should say, side investment deal, right? Kawhi Leonard, man, he's on the man, bro. This dude is on the goddamn going in stock, right? Extra $20 million in stock, so $48 million in total with Kawhi Leonard, right? Shortly after, but let me say this: he signed his deal shortly after with Aspiration through his entity, KL2 Aspire LLC, shortly after the company received significant investments, including a $50 million investment, again, from Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. Lord Jesus have mercy. Lord Jesus have mercy. The deal required minimal, actually no obligations from Kawhi Leonard, such as occasional social media posts, photos, or signatures. Kawhi Leonard only had one job: play for the Clippers. If you leave the Clippers, the deal is off. Other than that, you don't have to do anything else. But investigative reporter revealed he performed virtually no promotional work, no ads, no appearances, no endorsements. Anything was documented. Former Aspiration employees described it as a no-show contract, with one stating it was explicitly to circumvent the salary cap for Kawhi Leonard's Clippers deal. Now, payments to Kawhi Leonard began days after key investments, including from Ballmer and Clippers minority owner, as y'all see on the screen, through DEA 88 Investments LP, Dennis Wong, the co-owner of the Clippers, right? Days after they made key investments, which raised questions about whether the endorsement was a facade to funnel extra compensation. Now, Aspiration was a Clippers sponsor from 2021 to 2023 with a reported $300 million deal tied to the Intuit Dome, which Steve Ballmer nearly named after the company before pulling back. The Clippers introduced Kawhi Leonard to Aspiration executives after his 2021 contract extension, and the endorsement followed. In Aspiration's bankruptcy filing, the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard's LLC is listed as a creditor that's owed $7 million, confirming the deal's legitimacy on paper, but highlighting its unpaid balance amid the company's collapse. The NBA launched its investigation this month into potential salary cap circumvention, hiring external counsel, but this is separate from the federal fraud probe. Steve Ballmer and the Clippers had denied involvement, and they said that they were defrauded, and they had no oversight over Kawhi Leonard's situation, while they claimed that they're going to cooperate with the NBA and the federal government, SEC, and the DOJ. Now, Kawhi Leonard, if he's implicated by the feds, man, bro, his implication could occur if investigators find evidence tying him to this scheme, particularly through the endorsement deal's role of Aspiration's operations. Now, the scenarios that Kawhi Leonard could potentially find himself in federal trouble and potentially headed to federal prison are if Kawhi Leonard's or his representatives, meaning his uncle Dennis Robinson, were aware that Aspiration's funds were derived from fraudulent activities such as inflated revenues used to attract investors like Steve Ballmer and accepted payments anyways. This could implicate him in aiding the scheme. The Department of Justice alleges that Sandberg used wire communications to deceive investors. So any involvement promoting or concealing false info via the endorsement as a legitimate expense might draw scrutiny. Now, the deal also as a conduit for illicit funds, meaning that the no-show, the nature and timing, payments aligning with investments suggest the endorsement may have been used to launder or distribute fraud proceeds. Now, if proven, Kawhi Leonard knew it was a sham. This could link him to money laundering. Now, former employees claims that the deal was cap circumvention, uh, imply coordination, potentially escalating the federal review if it involved interstate wire or securities. Now, the failure to report or tax irregularities. If there were payments that were not properly reported as income, or if Kawhi Leonard benefited from tax write-offs tied to this fraudulent company, the IRS could investigate invasion, bankruptcy, records showing him as a creditor might prop subpoenas for his financials. Now, Mr. Sandberg's plea deal may involve cooperation, potentially revealing more about high-profile deals like Kawhi Leonard's. The SEC's ongoing probe into securities fraud could expand if the endorsement of Kawhi Leonard misrepresented Aspiration stability to its investors. Now, Kawhi Leonard's representatives have not commented extensively, right? But the scandal's visibility could lead him to being subpoenaed by the feds. Let's keep going. Also, the potential charges that Kawhi Leonard could face if he is found complicit in this scheme. Wire fraud under 18 USC 1334. If Kawhi Leonard participated in or aided in a scheme using electronic communications to defraud, which is mirroring Sandberg's charges, the penalty he would face would be up to 20 years in federal prison per count, plus fines. Also, security fraud under the 15 USC 78JB and Rule 10b-5. Now, if the endorsement involved misleading investors about Aspiration's finances, meaning listing it as legitimate expense and offering, civil, criminal via SEC DOJ, the penalty for that is up to 20 years and fines up to $5 million and disgorgement. Now, also, he could be hit with conspiracy to commit fraud under 18 USC 37-1 for agreeing with others, e.g., Aspiration executives or Clipper figures, to defraud. A penalty for that is up to 5 years in prison plus fines. Also, he could face potential money laundering scheme charges under 18 USC 1956. Now, this is if payments were known proceeds of fraud and laundered through the endorsement. The penalty for that is up to 20 years in federal prison. Also, tax evasion under 26 USC 7201 for underreporting income from the deal. Penalty could be up to 5 years and fines for up to $100,000 federal prison. Right? Man, dog. And basically, Kawhi Leonard would have to prove that he was a legitimate member of this, organization. But it's going to be hard because he had a no-show job, and his job strictly was linked in the contract to him playing for the Clippers, bro. The Clippers are in major shit. The Clippers are in major shit, bro. The Clippers are in major trouble, bro. And I'm talking about everybody that's linked with that. Anybody that could be linked with that, because the feds are talking with the employees. And today, one of the employees went on the show and said that the Clippers co-owner, David Wong, wired that $2 million, as y'all see, 9 days before Kawhi Leonard got paid, because his uncle Dennis called in complaining that they didn't get that money after the company had went bankrupt and fired all those employees. I try to tell y'all this, man. This is a very sad situation. If Kawhi Leonard was to end up in prison behind this, Uncle Dennis, Steve Ballmer, David Wong, or anybody else that could be linked to this situation. Because here's the difference, you guys. It would have been just basketball if this company wasn't a fraudulent company. But the fact that this is a fraudulent company and it was fraud committed, and their owner, Sandberg, admitted to the fraud, and he's facing up to 40 years. Sandberg can come and potentially implicate Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard, and all these other people for reduced time in federal prison. That's crazy work, man. And now, here's the thing. Clippers owner Steve Ballmer made the biggest mistake in the world, in my opinion. I'm going to tell y'all why. He should have never said anything. Anybody with any half a brain, which lets y'all know how sloppy he is and how sloppy that organization is over there with the strippers. If Steve Ballmer had any type of lawyer, any type of legal sense, he would not have said a word. Steve Ballmer would not have said a word. He would not have said a word at all. Steve Ballmer would have shut his mouth, and he would have not said anything. Point blank, period. And here's the thing. Sandberg has not gotten his plea deal yet. Sandberg only pleaded guilty to the charges. He faces up to 40 years and is awaiting his sentencing. Pretty rap young. So you got to learn what you're talking about. Also, Sandberg, as according to this report I'm reading, could potentially cooperate with federal investigators against other co-conspirators, including potentially the role of Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard. And here's the thing. Here's the problem that Steve Ballmer created. Steve Ballmer should have said nothing. Steve Ballmer, by going on ESPN and saying that those guys defrauded him, now what he could have potentially did is made an enemy out of Sandberg. So where now you turn Sandberg and a guy who might not have said nothing into a complete. You never know if Sandberg's going to turn into a snitch because you've already got employees in that company that said that they're being talked to by the feds, and they've already told the feds that Kawhi Leonard's situation was a sham. So with that being said, if he comes in and implicates as well the role of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, man, this is nasty work, man. Steve Ballmer should have never said nothing because him going on national TV on ESPN and throwing Sandberg under the bus saying he was a con or he got con and scammed, that can make him turn around and say, nah, how I get scammed if you was in here on the deal with me? And then if he does that, and then he can prove, what I'm saying, that Steve Ballmer used that company with that $50 million that he invested and paid to Kawhi Leonard, and then they paid the $48 million to Kawhi Leonard. It's BET Rap City, man. And then they got David Wong on paperwork. They got David Wong right here investing on the 6th of December 2022. He paid $2 million in a wire transfer. And then what happens? They pay Kawhi Leonard $1.75 million on the 15th of December of 2022. They're in trouble, bro. This is going to end up very bad. I believe, me personally, that Steve Ballmer is going to end up potentially losing the team. He's going to be pushed out the NBA. They said the owners are upset from what they were reporting today about this situation. All the other owners are ticked. And so the owners could vote him out, and if he's found guilty, which I believe he will be. And then Kawhi Leonard, his contract definitely going to be void, but they're going to be facing prison time because this is a federal situation. It wouldn't even be that serious legally if this wasn't a federal situation. The fact that they're linked in with a fraudulent company bro, this is stupid. This got to be the dumbest shit ever. Bro, like, crazy work, bro. And to the person who said I'm bugging out, I'm not bugging out, sir. You're bugging out. Matter of fact, I'll put on the screen. You're an idiot, and I'm gonna show you why you're an idiot, sir. I'm gonna show you why you're an idiot. He gonna tell me why I'm gonna do this, and I'm showing you the article, sir. I'm showing you the article, so I'm not even gonna just come on here and say something to you without having my research done, you idiot. I'm coming on here showing you paperwork, nigga. When you talking about this type of money, you fool in the comment section. I'm showing you actual paperwork. I'm not even gonna block you. Hold on. I'm showing you actual. See, I'm reading this, but I ain't even put this on the screen, you idiot. But I'll put it on the screen for you. It's right there. And there's the articles right under there. You're an idiot, Adam Cade, man. Wire fraud. If Kawhi Leonard participated in or aided in a scheme using electronic communications, you asshole, to defraud, mirroring Sandberg's charges, penalties up to 20 years per count and fines, you idiot. Shut your dumb ass up, fool. And I'm gonna show you for Steve Ballmer too, cause you a jackass, boy. Y'all niggas is fools. I'm sitting here showing y'all real information, and this dude's an idiot. Let me put this on the screen for you, just so you can see I was never captain. And that's per charges, clown. And you can go look it up in the articles yourself. The article's right there. As you can see, you damn fool. You a damn fool coming up here playing with me, boy. I don't come in here just talking, idiot. I come in here backed up with facts. I come in here backed up with articles. I come in here backed up with paperwork, nigga. The F wrong with you, boy. You see that right there? And I'm just showing you a piece of Steve. And there's the reports right there. Justice.gov, Reuter.com. All the reports are right there, you idiot. The core charge against Sandberg. This involves using electronic communications wires to execute a scheme to defraud. If Steve Ballmer's investment or communications with Aspiration were a part of deceiving other investors or concealing the Kawhi Leonard payments, he could face the penalty up to 20 years in prison per count plus fines. Security frauds, 15 USC 78 JB, and Rule 10b-5. If Steve Ballmer knowingly invested in or promoted Aspiration while aware of false statements in its securities offerings to the fund, e.g. to fund the Kawhi Leonard deal, the SEC could pursue civil penalties and the DOJ criminal ones. This often involves misleading investors about a company's viability. Penalties up to 20 years in prison, fines up to $5 million per individual, and disgorgement of gains. You dudes is clowns. And there's way more I can show you too. What are you talking about, dog? You a new fool, boy. You a new fool, nigga. What you thought I just made this shit up, you idiot? I know you thought I made it up, you damn fool. Go do your own research. It's all up in the New York Times. It's all up in the uh, Boston Sports Journal. It's all up in the NY Post, USA Today. Shut your ass up, boy. What the hell is wrong with you, man? You niggas is clowns. This is what you call white collar crime, you idiot. People going to prison doing stupid time for that every day. Why you think Sam Bankman-Fried ass is sitting over there in the Metropolitan Detention Center right now? These people is idiots. And they come on YouTube saying dumb shit under fake ass channels before I cook them. Right? And look at this dude. He's bugging out completely now. Prison? This is going to be nothing in the end. Okay, you wait and see. You wait and see, buddy. I ain't even going to block you. I want to let you unblock just so when they pack their ass up, you be right here. Come holler at me, nigga. Come holler at me. Come holler at me. Come holler at me. Them niggas think the feds is playing. Hey, what's wrong with these people, man? Y'all niggas better do y'all research on Sam Bent. Why y'all think that when that shit went down with the FTX scandal, that Steph Curry, Shaq, and all of them was like, man, I ain't know. Shit, them niggas got low when the feds came around, nigga. Them niggas got low. And see, this is the part where you find out where people just don't know shit, man. And they just talking, bro. Like, they come on YouTube, make fake accounts. You know what I'm saying? And just say dumb shit. Right? This is what they do, right? This is what they do, right? And remember, Sam Bankman-Fried, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Back from last year on March 28th, 2024, for orchestrating one of the largest financial frauds in history. And he was the founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Now, remember they had the FTX all over the courts in the NBA? Yeah, that was him, you idiot. Also, he was the founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and a trading firm, Alameda Research. Now, he basically was convicted on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. Now, his charges stem from his misappropriation of approximately $8 billion in customer funds deposited with FTX, defrauding investors of over $1.7 billion and lenders to Alameda for more than $1.3 billion. Now, prosecutors detailed how he used these funds for his personal gain, including funding a lavish lifestyle in the Bahamas, political lobbying, and investments in other companies. Now, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan, who imposed the sentence, cited him, his lack of remorse, witness tampering, and perjury during the trial as aggravating factors. Additionally, he was ordered to pay $11 billion in forfeiture for the massive fraud. And so that's why I told y'all, Steve Ballmer going on ESPN saying, oh, I didn't know anything. I got frauded. All this other shit. Man, if this dude flip on him, implicate him, man, Steve Ballmer, he could be facing, if they put those charges, if they run those charges, if they stack them and run those charges consecutively, man, he could be facing damn near 70 years in prison. What the hell is with Kawhi Leonard too? What the hell is wrong with these people? And in his case, him going on TV and saying, then, oh, I was frauded. He basically separating himself from it. So he's saying he wasn't involved. He should have just not said nothing. But by him doing that, that put him in a do-low twist. Now watch how it pan out now. Because Sandberg, the only thing he can do now is help the feds to get less time because he's already admitted his guilt. So all Sandberg got to do is say, "Oh, okay, now you throwing me under the bus? All right." He can tell the feds this, and get them all this information. They do interviews with all those staff members that y'all see going up there, what you call it. And then now you talking about prison time for real, sucker. Yeah, you gonna come to my channel and tell me, you idiot? I'm out here doing the research. You ain't doing nothing. Shut your ass up, man. Stay away from me, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. Stupid people get stupid prizes every single day. And I'm going to come in here later on and cook that dumbass Kendrick Perkins sitting on TV today talking about something. Well, we got to protect Kawhi. Protect Kawhi for what, nigga? Talking about you ain't read your contract. You a new fool, nigga. Kendrick Perkins talking about, I ain't never read my contract. Man, shut up, nigga. You a that because you a country fool, but you'll sit up here and talk shit about Kyrie Irving and talk about if you put a brain in a bird, the bird will fly backwards. But you'll sit up there on national TV talking about something you ain't never read a contract you had. You left it up to your agents. That's why your dumb ass and y'all was always getting y'all ass raked up on. So how much money y'all got for it? This fool said he ain't even read his own contract. He just signed the contract. Dummy. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to cook his ass later on today, too. Just for saying that stupidity. Like, share, subscribe, man. Salute to everybody in the building. Y'all already know what it is, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where the feds go with this, man. But y'all know how the feds do, man. Look, listen, bro. This paperwork right here. This is white collar crime. So this ain't something that's easy to come up off of. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. I'm gone. Hey, I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the network. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, there are links. Get the free membership on our website. That way you guys won't miss any of our news update stories or videos. They're all on the website, ticketvmedia.com. You go over there. You can go right to the members part and become a free member. That way you guys will get all the updates. Also, straight drop weight loss formula. Make sure y'all go tap in and copy some of that, as well as subscribing to our podcast show. Link will be pinned at the top of the chat down there below. And also, we just appreciate all y'all who support the channel. Cash App, PayPal.